Hope you are doing well. Today, horror incident about unseen entity or demon. When I was a kid, summer vacations meant one thing: visiting our grandparents. It was a tradition that my siblings and I cherished. Their village was a serene place, miles away from the hustle and bustle of the city where we lived. The air was fresh, the skies were clear, and the sense of freedom was palpable. One of the highlights of these visits was the huge mango orchard situated just a few miles from our grandparents' home. The orchard was a sprawling expanse of land, dotted with mango trees that seemed to touch the sky. Each tree was a testament to nature's bounty, laden with juicy mangoes that beckoned us. Many villagers had their own mango trees in this orchard, making it a communal space where everyone gathered, especially during the mango season. We would often head to the orchard in the afternoons, seeking refuge from the scorching sun under the cool shade of the trees. The orchard was our playground. We played all sorts of games, our laughter echoing through the trees. It was during one of these playful afternoons that something extraordinary happened. On that particular day, the sun was shining brightly, and the orchard was buzzing with activity. I was in high spirits teasing my cousin Jack, who was a year older than me. Jack had always been a bit of a hothead, and it didn't take long for him to lose his temper. With a fiery look in his eyes, he decided he'd had enough of my antics and started chasing me. I ran as fast as my legs could carry me, weaving between the trees, my heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. The chase was exhilarating, and I couldn't help but laugh even as I pushed myself to run faster. After what felt like an eternity, though it was probably only about 15 minutes, I stopped to catch my breath, confident that I had outpaced him. But when I looked back, Jack was nowhere to be seen. In fact, nothing was where it should have been. The familiar mango trees had vanished, replaced by barren fields stretching out as far as the eye could see. There were no villages, no people, just an endless expanse of dry, empty land. Panic set in as I tried to make sense of my surroundings. How could I have gotten so lost in just a few minutes of running? The mango trees were enormous and should have been visible from a distance, yet here I was, surrounded by nothing but desolation. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my racing heart. I figured I must have run in a straight line, so if I retraced my steps, I should eventually find my way back. With that plan in mind, I began walking, trying to maintain a straight path. The sun beat down on me, and the barren fields offered no shade or respite. After about 30 minutes of walking, I was beginning to lose hope. Everything looked the same, and there was no sign of the orchard or the village. Just when despair was about to take hold, I saw something in the distance, a structure of some sort standing alone in the middle of the fields. As I got closer, I realized it was a monastery, an old and weathered building that seemed out of place in the midst of the barren landscape. The monastery's walls were made of stone, and its roof was covered in moss. There was an air of mystery about the place, and despite my fear, I felt drawn to it. I approached the monastery cautiously, my footsteps echoing in the silence. The wooden door creaked open with a gentle push, and I stepped inside. The cool air inside was a welcome relief from the heat outside. The interior was dimly lit, with beams of sunlight filtering through small, stained glass windows. The main hall was empty, except for a few benches and an altar at the far end. I walked towards the altar, my footsteps muffled by the thick layer of dust on the floor. On the altar, there was an old book, its pages yellowed with age. I opened it carefully, and though the text was in a language I didn't understand, the illustrations were captivating. They depicted scenes of monks meditating, tending to gardens, and performing rituals. As I stood there, lost in the ancient book, I heard soft footsteps behind me. I turned around to see an elderly monk, dressed in simple robes, watching me with kind eyes. "Lost, are you?" he asked in a gentle voice. I nodded, feeling a mix of relief and embarrassment. "Yes, sir. I was with my cousins in the mango orchard, and I must have gotten turned around." The monk smiled. "It happens more often than you think. This place has a way of drawing people in. Come, sit with me. You must be tired and thirsty." He led me to a small room at the side of the hall, where he offered me a cup of cool water and a piece of bread. As I ate, he introduced himself as Brother Thomas and explained that the monastery was a place of solitude and meditation, long forgotten by the outside world. Brother Thomas shared stories of the monastery's history. It was built centuries ago by a group of monks seeking peace and enlightenment. Over time, the surrounding village had dwindled, and the monastery had become isolated. The monks continued their traditions, living a simple life dedicated to prayer and contemplation. I listened, fascinated by the tales of the monks' devotion and the miracles that were said to have occurred there. Brother Thomas spoke of a sacred spring that provided water even in the driest of seasons, and of a tree in the courtyard that bore fruit all year round. As the afternoon turned to evening, Brother Thomas offered me a place to rest for the night. He assured me that they would help me find my way back to the village in the morning. Grateful and exhausted, I accepted his offer and soon fell into a deep sleep on a simple cot. That night I had vivid dreams. I saw the monks going about their daily routines, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of nature. I dream of the sacred spring, its water sparkling under the moonlight, and the miraculous tree, its branches heavy with fruit. There was a sense of peace and harmony in the monastery that was almost tangible. When I woke up the next morning, the sun was just beginning to rise, casting a golden glow over the monastery. Brother Thomas was already up, preparing a simple breakfast of porridge and fruit. After we ate, he led me outside to the courtyard. In the daylight, the monastery looked even more serene. The sacred spring was just as beautiful as in my dreams, and the tree in the courtyard was indeed laden with fruit. Brother Thomas plucked a ripe mango and handed it to me with a smile. "This is a gift for your journey," he said. "Now, let's get you back to your family." We walked together through the barren fields, retracing my steps from the previous day. With Brother Thomas guiding me, the landscape seemed less daunting. He pointed out landmarks I hadn't noticed before, subtle signs that marked the way. As we walked, we talked more about the monastery and its place in the world. Brother Thomas explained that while they were secluded, they were not entirely cut off. Occasionally, travelers would find their way to the monastery, drawn by the same sense of mystery and wonder that had led me there. After what felt like hours, we finally reached the edge of the mango orchard. The sight of the familiar trees filled me with relief and joy. I could hear the distant sounds of my cousins playing, their laughter ringing through the air. Brother Thomas placed a hand on my shoulder. "Remember, you are always welcome at the monastery, and if you ever feel lost, know that there is a place of peace waiting for you." I thanked him sincerely, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. As I walked back into the orchard, I turned to look at Brother Thomas one last time. He gave me a gentle nod before turning and walking back towards the fields. My cousins were overjoyed to see me, their initial anger and worry forgotten in the excitement of my return. I shared the story of my adventure with them, and they listened with wide-eyed amazement. The mango I brought back from the monastery was the sweetest we had ever tasted, and it became a symbol of that unforgettable summer. It's my advice, if you ever visit, remember to be careful around the river and the forest, for the spirits there are hungry. For fear, always inquire about the house before move in. Keep yourself and others safe from any type of scary activity. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.